Welcome to the Bitcoin in Africa show. From Dakar to Dar es Salaam, from Cairo to Cape Town, we are the voice of Bitcoin in Africa.
Hey everybody, it's Charlene Fadirepo with this super special episode of the Bitcoin in Africa show. We are reporting live from Rimini, Italy at the We Make Future conference. One of the things that kind of stands out when you're here in Rimini is that it is just gorgeous. The weather is beautiful, the space is beautiful. We're actually in one of the little break areas. So again, this is a 3-day conference. This is where the participants are hanging out, chilling, taking a meeting, having food, you name it. Like, it's just a really nice space to chill out after you've been learning about so many amazing, innovative digital technologies. This whole conference is about technology and digital innovation, so you're gonna see some pretty cool stuff. Let's go. Sometimes it's hard to remember, so we're in Italy. There's so many amazing car brands. I mean, you have to love the Maserati. You might be wondering, why are we even covering this show on the Bitcoin in Africa show? Because here's the thing, Bitcoin is a monetary technology. We want a monetary technology like Bitcoin to become mainstream. This is not a Bitcoin conference. This is actually a technology and digital innovation conference. And if we are focused on Bitcoin adoption and hyper-Bitcoinization, then Bitcoin needs to be the comment, needs to be the subject at large international conferences like this. Remember, Bitcoin is a global monetary currency for the world. We've got to get out of our echo chambers and start talking about Bitcoin in the broader technology discussion. I had to stop here because I wanted you guys to see how big this conference is. They expected about 55,000 people from all around the world, but a lot of the folks here, of course, are from Italy. You take a look at the map behind me, you see they had about 6 or 7 different stages. But what's really cool is that if you compare last year to this year, the work stream allocated for cryptocurrency and Bitcoin was huge. There were folks that talked about Bitcoin and financial inclusion. They had a couple of representatives talking about the innovation that's happening in Europe with regards to Bitcoin and crypto-related regulation. Of course, I came and spoke and gave a presentation about how Bitcoin is the great equalizer of the Global South. There were conversations about Bitcoin in Africa. So this is all really great news. Again, if we're serious about Bitcoin education and Bitcoin adoption becoming mainstream, these conversations need to happen outside of the Bitcoin bubble, which many of us are a part of. We need to start bringing Bitcoin into the fold and having these conversations at digital innovation conferences, at technology conferences, at finance conferences. Any conference that is talking about people that are changing the world, Bitcoin needs to be a part of that conversation. I'm here with Cairo Arevalo, who is one of the members of the Bitcoin Dominicana circular community in the Dominican Republic. Thanks so much for being here with us today, Cairo.
Thank you for having me, Charlene.
So Cairo, you just got off the stage and gave an awesome presentation about the impact of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin is for financial inclusion. Talk to us about some of the work that you're doing in the Dominican Republic.
Well, Charlene, so we are, getting started with Bitcoin Dominicana. So it's a nascent organization, and we're trying to address, the main challenges that Dominicans have due to their, lack of inclusion in certain economic systems, right, in the financial system. So basically, we're trying to give them an option to learn about what Bitcoin can do for them, for their families, and also help them participate in other processes, at a bigger level in the country.
So in your presentation, you talked about a couple things. You talked about some of the barriers. You mentioned, I think, education and governance. Can you talk more about that? How is your work kind of tackling some of those challenges that you see on the ground in the Dominican Republic?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So initially, education is the first obstacle that people have, both the general population, but also the authorities and the government. So we want to make sure that there is enough knowledge about how cryptocurrencies can change the world of so many people. And then in terms of financial inclusion, how we can create, talk about how we can create tools and resources and systems that can help people participate actively in their economies. And by doing that, they will provide opportunities to their own families.
One of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you, Cairo, is that the same kind of opportunities for Bitcoin that you see in the Dominican Republic, these are the same opportunities that we see across various countries in Africa. And so we have to just make sure that we keep those communication lines opening, because we can learn so much from other folks that are on the ground. Speaking of learning, Cairo has a blog called the Node Society. Yes. Can you tell us more about that blog and what kind of information you share?
Yes, of course. So I'm really passionate about futurism. Okay, so that's what I write about. I write about a society that has evolved into becoming a society based on nodes, where information and money has been completely transitioned into the blockchain. And so I talk about this scenario where, the society is more transparent, it is also more inclusive, more equal, and so there is cool participation of people, but there is also still a good participation for the government to become a good entity in a way that it provides regulation that is actually useful and that is actually applicable, in so many levels. So yeah, it's a little bit of an exploration.
Perfect. So where can people check out that blog? Is it nodesociety.com?
It's on Substack. Nodesociety.
Got it.
Substack.
I want to go back to the point that you made. You talked about equal access. And so, of course, when we're thinking about places like the Dominican Republic or even every country of Africa, we're thinking about wealth distribution and, the distribution of opportunity. Do you agree with that? That we're on the path to just make things, improve the quality of life of the world?
So it will take some time, and it will take a lot of discussions for everyone, for all of us to understand what it means to transition into a model like that. It's not going to be easy, but I'm confident that by having tools like the blockchain and other things that will be developed in the future, we'll have a framework and a platform to build a more democratic and a more inclusive future.
Couple more questions. You just finished your talk at We Make Future. You mentioned to me that you actually, this is your second year speaking at the We Make Future conference. Talk to me about the big differences between last year and this year, and most importantly, how are you received? Did the feedback change? Did your questions change? What has your experience been like?
So it's been a really nice surprise to see more people this year. There is also a bigger panel for blockchain and crypto. It's a really nice kind of a growth from the event because we can see that blockchain and crypto has more acceptance, and people are looking into learning more and having more conversations and asking more questions. Absolutely.
Yeah, indeed. Well, thank you so much for talking to us, Cairo.
Charlene.
Great job today.
Thank you so much.
Excellent. So this idea of autonomous vehicles might seem a little bit futuristic, but the future is now. And you're seeing examples of that right here at the We Make Future conference. up and have you guys see these robots. So, here's the thing. Technology is taking over the world. We have these two robots playing and singing at the same time. It's pretty awesome. You got to take a look. A lot of people think that drones are just for play, but actually drones are delivering healthcare solutions all over the global south. They can provide much needed supplies in disaster scenarios. Drone technology is really, really important, particularly when you're dealing with a country that might not have full access to transportation channels. So we're walking through the expo. So you can see a lot of these companies are Italian companies. You've got incredible range of companies, AI companies, digital technology. There are lots of cryptocurrency companies, anything and everything. It's been a really, really interesting, experience for me to see so many different companies that are in the technology space that are doing business all over the world. And this will give you a sense of the variety of what's here. The importance of kind of environment enabling sustainable communities. This is a really interesting company called ETA Bioengineering, and they're pioneering wearable tech, right? So these are clothing that have these little nodes that can give data about the blood flow for individuals wearing them. So wearable tech is not a new concept, but I think what's really interesting is about wearable tech using certain textiles. I actually think that these are for folks that work in hazardous areas, right? So you see, perhaps you were a firefighter and you want to make sure that the temperature, you can control the temperature of an area. So this is really interesting. This is actually sponsored by the University of Napoli, Federico, right? So again, this is one of those ideas that is still kind of in its infancy, but you can actually see the amazing applications of wearable tech. So this is actually going to make the work environment so much safer, right? So wearables for people with disabilities, wearables for folks in the sports arena, right? Adaptive and multiple garments for shorts and shirts. But probably most importantly, for folks that do very, very dangerous jobs, wearable tech to make sure that those folks can be safe and sound. And so all of these technologies can make sure that people are protected from injury. A new innovation for LED walls, right? So if you want a wall-to-wall TV experience, they produce those experiences. So if you walk into this room, you actually can experience what it looks like to have a wall-to-wall TV.
Well, that's all we have time for today on the Bitcoin in Africa show. We hope you enjoyed our coverage of the We Make Future conference in Rimini, Italy. It was fascinating to see the latest developments in digital innovation and to hear from some of the brightest minds in the industry. We were particularly impressed by the discussions about the potential of Bitcoin to foster financial inclusion, drive economic mobility, and transform the global financial system in Africa and all across the global south. And I gotta tell you, after speaking with some of the attendees and the presenters at the conference, it was clear to me that there's a growing awareness of the importance of Bitcoin in the digital innovation space and its potential to change the world. We'd like to thank the organizers of the We Make Future conference for having us and for providing such a valuable platform for the exchange of cutting-edge ideas and insights. We look forward to attending this conference again next year and continuing to explore the latest trends and developments in digital innovation. Arrivederci! Hello, everyone. It's Charlene Fadirepo. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Bitcoin in Africa show. Thank you so much for watching or listening. There are a number of ways you can stay connected to our show. First, check us out on YouTube at Bitcoin in Africa Show, or you can follow us on Twitter at Bitcoin Niger Show. Last but not least, sign up for our newsletter at bitcoininafricashow.com. Thanks so much. Take care.